everyone, and welcome to Mind on Monday. Today we will talk about how to overcome, or more accurately, how to override your limiting beliefs about wealth. Mind on Monday is a weekly series of short lessons designed specifically to help you improve yourself, improve your daily life, find motivation, and find courage to pursue your life's dreams and be your best self, all in less than a coffee break. My name is Agla Vaite, and I am here to take you on a journey of self-discovery. I'm just like you, so if I did it, you can do it too. Wealth can be many things, not necessarily money and assets. Wealth can be intellectual, it can be spiritual, it can be emotional. But today, we will talk about the number one thing people think when they hear the word wealth. And that's material possessions, assets, money. This may not apply to everybody, but certainly, at least in my culture and my upbringing, the idea of wealth was always tinted with some sort of darkness. It always carried a feeling of sinfulness with it, which I find incredibly ironic because most people wish to be wealthy, even if they don't necessarily admit it. Sometimes they don't even admit it to themselves. But then these same people scorn at those who have earned their riches, like they must have done something evil to get where they are. Like just by having money, they automatically become bad people. Don't get me wrong, there are most certainly people in the world who gain their riches through dirty means, and there are definitely rich people who are probably bad people. But there are also, and probably just as many people, that are poor and are just as bad. Money itself does not define what kind of person you are. Your mind defines what kind of person you are. I've been lucky to be taught spirituality and mindfulness from a very young age, but with that also came the idea that wealth is something dirty, something that interferes with your spirituality, with your personal growth. It's certainly not something that should be consciously pursued. A lot of people, when they delve deeper into spirituality, are countered with this romanticized idea that a spiritual person can only be a monk in a Himalayan mountains that gave up all their personal possessions and has only his robes to carry with him. That's definitely one way of pursuing spirituality and self-development, but that's only one of many, many ways to do it. In anthropology, this is discussed as a phenomenon of displaced feeling of longing for the days long gone. In each culture, there is an idealized idea of certain way of life that was supposedly present in the good old days and is uncapturable in our current world due to the corruption and degradation of the modern day society or the ways of life. The fact is that this vision is completely made up. It never truly existed anywhere outside our imagination. Yes, there are monks in Himalayan mountains, but that idolized monk in his spiritual awakening that we created in our heads only exists there, inside our heads. And for most of us, if we try to run off to the Himalayas and live that lifestyle, well, most of us likely would be back home sooner rather than later. And lots of people who chase this imaginary ideal of spirituality and self-development end up giving up on it altogether because they are discouraged by this unattainable imaginary vision of reality and they deem it as just not for me. That's why I firmly believe it is incredibly important to redefine for ourselves what spirituality, personal growth, and self-development really means. And redefining what wealth means is my first step for you. First of all, there is nothing evil about wealth. Like I said earlier, sure, some wealthy people might do bad things, but poor people do bad things just the same. If you have these deep-seated negative beliefs about money or wealth, even if it rings a little familiar but you're not quite sure, you might have it hidden deep in your subconscious without even realizing it. It is important to reprogram your brain with new definitions of wealth. For example, if your grandmother used to tell you as a kid, all these rich people are evil, or if your parents used to fight about money and maybe throw phrases like, all you only care about is money, and you were hearing them say these things, you might have these negative beliefs about money and wealth that you don't even know you have. For example, my parents used to say that money doesn't matter and you shouldn't think about the money. So for the longest time, I believed that wanting and pursuing wealth was wrong, which is ironic in its own way because once I decided to pursue a career in acting, the first thing my parents asked me was, "How are you going to make the money?" I'll give you 3 statements about wealth now, based on what wealth means to me. If wealth is among your goals and you feel you might have some limiting beliefs about it, do this. Write these statements down and stick them on your bathroom mirror. So then you would read them at least twice a day, just after waking up and before going to bed. If you meditate, then use one of these statements in your meditation as well. These statements, however, are just guidance. You can use these or create your own based on what wealth means to you. Number 1, wealth is freedom. For me, wealth equates with freedom because it gives me the choice to do the things I wish to do, when I wish to do them, where I wish to do them. It doesn't mean there are no other ways to similar freedom or that it needs to be expensive things. What it means to me is it is a way of claiming my time back to myself in a way that makes me feel safe and happy. And it allows me then to use that time for the experiences I find meaningful. Number 2, wealth is good. Because I grew up in a fairly poor background and my family struggled with finances my entire childhood. Not having money made me fear for my survival. I mean, there were times where we didn't even have food in the house, sometimes for a few days. Our electricity would get disconnected, we received threats that they would turn our water off, or we would get kicked out of the house. I realize there are people in the world who are probably a lot less fortunate than me. But the experiences we have don't have to be extreme to shape our understanding of the world. It might be as simple as your parents denying you certain things as a child. Maybe certain toys all of the kids around you had. It's not as extreme as not having a home, but it's just as valid and just as impactful. So to me, money is good because to me, it provides a feeling of security. For you, money might be good for a different reason. Define what those reasons are. Number 3, wealth is giving. This is probably the most important one because this truly reshapes the mindset around wealth on a deeper level. Wealth is not having, wealth is giving. If you truly want to reach an abundance of wealth, you need to have the abundance mindset that I talked about before. And in abundance mindset, giving is the number 1 thing. If you are reluctant to give to others, especially those in need, your subconscious mind is registering signals that you don't have enough. And it's programming your mind to act and behave like you don't have enough. And therefore, attract more situations in your life where you will really not have enough. To overcome that, you need to first overcome fear. Then redefine wealth as giving and put yourself in an abundance mindset. To learn more about overcoming fear, please watch episode 9 of this series where I outline steps on how to master your fear. And that's all for this week. Remember, identify your limiting beliefs, redefine wealth, and enter into an abundance mindset. Work on these and watch new exciting opportunities unfold in front of you. Next week, we will be talking about why you shouldn't compare yourself to others. Thank you very much for watching or listening. Please hit that subscribe button, give me a thumbs up, and leave a comment below. And if you got any value from anything I said, please share this with your friends, your family, your colleagues. Share it on your social media and tag me if you do. We can only grow organically and we need your help. So please help us build a better world. Have a fantastic week. I will see you all again next week. Same place, same time. And remember, you improve your life by improving one day at a time.